Hello, I'm Rick Stivers of the YoungMartin'sReels. Today's project is going to be this Shakespeare SC15 spincast reel. And this one's a little beat up, looking a little rough, made in China. And we are going to see if we can clean this one up, make it look a little bit better, and get it ready to go into a fidget bag. And we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're going to start off by taking off the cover. That came off easy. I wonder if it's stripped out. Let's take a look. No, it's not stripped out. It just wasn't on all the way. Okay, so we're going to take it off. Take the cover off, take a look at it. It's dirty inside, but aside from that, looks okay. All right, we'll set that over to the side, see if this now comes out of the body. It does, and it's dirty with some old grease, but aside from that, it's in good shape inside. Let's take a look at the gears. All right, well, that doesn't look too bad. I don't see any chipped or broken in there. And, okay, let's see if we can get this to unscrew. I think it'll be easier to get this to unscrew if we've got it inside this body. So we're going to leave it in there until we get this unscrewed off here, I think. Okay, we're going to hold on to the handle and unscrew the rotor. There we go. And this rotor's in really good shape. Hey, that looks exactly like the one we did the other day inside. And I'll set that over there. Let's pull the body back off. All right, this looks like a 10mm nut on the handle. Let's go ahead and take that off. And over to the side. Handle knob comes off. All right, now this is going to be one of these where this is going to have to come out of the front. It's not going to be able to come out of the back because of the way it's made. Okay, so, but in the meantime, let's get back around over here and see about removing this E-clip off of the front, or C-clip. I think this one is, ooh, wow, that's really tight. So maybe it's because the drag is too tight. Okay, so let's loosen this up all the way as far as it will go and see if that didn't loosen up the keyway. Okay. Okay. It's got the E-clip off. And what does that give us? It gives us a metal drag washer with a dimple on it. Okay. And a Teflon drag washer. And let's see here. Now the spool is going to come off. I've got a Teflon drag washer up against the spool. And wow, this looks just like the other reel that we did. So this is like a duplicate. So I'm thinking that that little reel was made by Shakespeare. That little no-name reel, I believe, must be a Shakespeare reel, because I mean this thing is identical inside. Let's unscrew this out of here, and we'll remove the drag knob. Okay, and again, no nut inside. This is just exactly like the no-name purple reel that we just did. Okay, but we want to take this apart, and we can't get it apart yet because we've got to get this spring to come loose. When you're trying to deal with this, you really don't want to try to deal with it when it's all dirty. The best thing to do is go ahead, spray it down with a little see if we can't get it clean enough to be able to see the actual individual wires of the spring. I'm going to wipe this off. All right. We're going to rotate this around until we can see the end wire. That looks like it right there. And what we're going to do is we want that end wire to come around and get over on the this flat side right here is what we're after. I'm going to get that wire over onto there. Okay, once it's there, we should be able to hopefully get up under it and lift it up onto the flat. Trying to see if I've got it there good. I've got that zoomed all the way up as far as I can. Trying to see the end of the spring. There we go. Once you get it to start up off of there, you can usually kind of just untwist it and it'll pop right off the rest of the way. Okay, with that spring off, we can now pull the axle shaft out of the front. We can remove the pinion gear. We can remove, and I'm here to tell you what, we called that other reel a no name, but in just a moment, we'll have all these back together and we're going to take the cover off of both of the reels and show you that basically it's the same reel. So we can give a name to that other reel. So I'm going to go clean up all these parts. We're going to put it back together and we're going to come back and do a comparison between the two. While cleaning and scrubbing up these parts, I also did some inspection and I was able to find that this rotor is damaged, but I believe it's something that we can repair because it hasn't gone too far yet. Okay, if you look right here, right there, you will see that there is a cut in the steel from the line digging in right there. And that is something that actually can be repaired, and it's exactly kind of repaired. What we can do is file it down. But in order to do that, we've got to get this guy up and out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and pull this pin up and get it out of the way over to the side and pull that pin out all together. Now we can see what's going on right there. And you can see that there's a notch right there. See my fingernail catches in it? And what we're going to do is we're going to take a file and we're going to dress that down until that cut goes away. Now, there's only so much you can do of this because what will eventually happen is you'll file your way all the way through the cover. But for a while, we can get by with doing this. So I'm going to file this down and I'll come back to you in a few minutes once it's done and show you that we no longer have that cut in the rotor. And I'll be right back to you. All right, I filed it down and then I sanded it down with 220 sandpaper, and the nick is gone. That cut that the line has created is gone off of there, and this is ready to go back to into operation again. And what we'll do is we will take this pin, reinsert it back into the hole there, pull out on a little bit, get it lined up in the hole like so, and bing, there you go. And the rotor has been repaired and ready to go. Like I said, this kind of repair can be done several times. There's actually an arc weld spot on the top up here, and I don't know why that is, But at first I thought it was corrosion, but it actually looks like something shorted into it right there. Somebody arced it. But I don't think it's hurting anything. So anyway, that's how you repair that. So we are ready now to start reassembling this reel. I'm gonna back out. And here we go. We're gonna start off with this assembly, and into that will go our anti-reverse claw right there, like so. Okay, and into that now we're going to put this main gear, and we'll take and lubricate the shaft on the main gear with some grease. If you wish to use oil on this, that's your choice. It will make it a little faster. Okay, there's your anti-reverse. See how it works? It will turn it this way, but it won't allow it to come back the opposite way. Okay, let's go ahead now and put the handle back on at that point. That's going to hold all of that in. Okay, there we go. Next in is going to go this axle shaft. Now, axle shafts are usually steel, but this one appears to be bronze. And we're going to grease it. And then insert it back into the end of this housing, which has been cleaned up nice and neat. Okay. We'll insert it. Oh, got a part I forgot to clean. Next, we're going to install the pinion gear back on. And now, you're going to have to lower that axle shaft down in order to fit the pinion in. This collar on it here has to fit down under. Let's go ahead and zoom in for this operation. Okay. We're going to set the pinion gear in with that collar down underneath like that, and then we can adjust, set this axle shaft in, and then get it to slide in. All right, with that done, we're going to set this down against the face, against the table. And now we can put this spring back on. Okay, and the best thing to do there is just work that spring down. And it's going to want to fight you. There you go. Spring's on. Okay. Now let's back it back out. And let's see about putting this back together the rest of the way. Okay. We're going to set our drag knob back inside and adjust it so that, or set it so that the whole of it can be seen through. Right there, and then we're going to take our screw, put our screw back inside the hole, and screw it down. We're going to screw it down until it's basically flush with the body and with that screw notch directly across. With that done, we can now put our drag bar in. Now, in the other reel that we did, this part was all corroded up from getting wet. This one is not that way, so we're not going to worry about greasing it up to try to protect it. We're going to go ahead and set it in, and this cutout right here goes right into the head of that screw, like that, and then it sits down. Okay, the other end has got to fit into this other notch on the backside, right there. Okay. Let's get it in that one and get it in that one. There we go. This one's going to kind of snap in. It's a tight fit. Okay. Next is going to go this bar, and this angle here is going to fit into this hole over here. Set it down. There you go. Drop it into place. Next to go on is going to be a Teflon washer. After that, it's going to go our spool. Set the spool in place. You can check and see if it's clicking right. And it does. Okay, get all this line over out of the way. Okay, set the Teflon washer on. Next, set the metal drag washer on, like so. And at that point, we should be ready to put this clip back on. Like so. Get the line up on each side. Man, that thing is tight. Make sure we're in the slot. Looks like there's plenty of room for it to fit into the slot. And it looks as though that notch right there should go into that little notch over there. It's not the way it was when we took it out. There we go. And now let's see if that will actually fit into that notch. No, it will not. So it doesn't go there. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that around to there. Apparently, that's going to slip in between back and forth there, and that'll ride. Okay, that's locked in. The clip is snapped in. We're going to now go to the rear of this cover, and we're going to put a small dab of grease on each corner of this button. Now this button, you didn't see me take it out. It kind of fell out after we pulled the cover off. But I did go ahead and take it the rest of the way out and clean it. We're going to back it up here, and we're going to set that cover, or that button, down inside the cover, like so, and get those two posts mounted in those slots back there, like so. Okay, so the button will fit in like that. With that done, put a little dab of grease right there on the end of it where it's going to ride against the axle shaft. Go ahead and reinsert it back inside like that. That done. Now remember, we've repaired this, but we haven't lubricated it yet. So let's go ahead, put a little grease on it, like so. And let's go ahead and screw that rotor back down. This line wants to get trapped, and we don't want that to happen, so we're going to move it over here out of the way. And all this old line is going to come off after this is done. But I want it on there to be able to test the drag. Okay. Run the line through the front cover, like so. Let's go ahead and screw it down. Okay, now let's go ahead and tighten the drag. Oh yeah, nice tight drag. Back it off a little bit. Good. Button release, line comes out. Wind it, line comes in. And there you have the Shakespeare SC15. But before we leave, let's take a quick look at the reel that we did yesterday, which was this little purple no-name reel. You notice any similarities in these two reels? Well, let's pop this off here. Pop off the cover. Slide this off. Let's take this one apart. And slide this one off. And if you look, the design practically the same. So I'm going to make the call, although I don't know it for certain, but I'm going to make the call, and the drag parts inside are exactly identical. I'm going to make the call that this reel, the no-name reel, was actually made by Shakespeare. And it was probably made for some small child's combo, but they made it exactly the same almost internally as this Shakespeare reel. So I didn't know that when we started. This was all, I just had a group of reels that I wanted to get set up for the church, and it appears that they are the same. So there you have the Shakespeare SC15, and I did get the line trapped here. That's why it was so tight getting them back on. That's why it's important to get your line going through when you put this together, so that when you set it in place like this, you can kind of pull the line out a little bit and make sure that it's not trapped in the threads. There. Okay. Now it's back to working, doing what it's supposed to do. Now, I know Chris noticed this, because Chris doesn't miss much, and some of the rest of you probably did too. What was I missing when I put all this reel back together? I never did grease the main gear. So let's go back and grease the main gear. All right, main gear's been greased, put it back together, and it all works. And I was in the middle of doing the next reel in the project, and when I went to grease it, I suddenly realized, hey, I don't remember doing that on the last reel. And I said, well, let me go back and take a look and see if I forgot. And guess what? I did. So now it's greased. Now it's ready to go, and almost ready to go. What I still need to do is remove the line off of this reel and all the 6 reels that are going in this fidget bags. And there you have it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, by all means, hit the dislike button, but I would appreciate it if you would tell me what it was about the video that you didn't like. For now, that's Rick Stivers of YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.